I'm E-Lightning, and this is Sports Storm.
Today we will be doing our way too early NFL awards predictions. Just letting you guys know, all of these predictions are based off of our last Super Bowl video, so we're going to leave a link to that in the description. You can go check it out after this video. So let's get right into it with the Offensive Rookie of the Year.
My Offensive Rookie of the Year is going to be Ezekiel Elliott. He's running behind the best offensive line, and if this offensive line can make a player like DeMarco Murray look good, it can easily make a much more talented Ezekiel Elliott look great. Now, I feel like he can be one of the best running backs in the league, maybe even top 10 behind this offensive line, and plus he has a good pass game to distract, as a play-action game will be going. I just feel like this offense will be good, and Ezekiel Elliott is going to be a major part of that.
Yeah, I also have Ezekiel Elliott, Dallas Cowboys running back out of Ohio State. Really can do everything for you as a running back, can run the ball, can catch it out of the backfield, can block also. Really the perfect fit for the Dallas offense with their amazing offensive line. I have Ezekiel Elliott winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. Who do you have as your Defensive Rookie of the Year?
I have Leonard Floyd. Now, the Chicago Bears defense is going to need a lot of help. However, Leonard Floyd, I feel like, is the hyper-athletic linebacker that can do that. Of course, you have Pernell McPhee rushing the opposite side, and that will distract a lot of the defense. Leonard Floyd is hyper-athletic. He can get interceptions and sacks for you. I feel like overall, being one of the better players on the Chicago defense, he should benefit from being able to make a lot of plays playing linebacker, another versatile position.
My Defensive Rookie of the Year is number 5 overall pick, Jalen Ramsey out of Florida State. Didn't put up huge numbers in college, but I do think he will in the pros. I think he's going to be a really great run-stopping cornerback, and we'll get a few picks also, but I think he's going to be a major part in that Jacksonville defense on the, I believe, left side of the field, second-string corner behind Prince Mukamara, who I think will develop him well. Who is your Coach of the Year?
My Coach of the Year is going to be Bruce Arians, and I feel like he's just motivating this veteran group. He's going to get them to a very good record, and obviously they have a ton of talent. Bruce Arians can get them to the conference championship, as I predicted in my Super Bowl video, and I just feel like he's one of the better coaches. He always keeps his guys going. He develops young guys. Yeah, I just feel like he needs to be recognized this year.
Yeah, my Coach of the Year is going to be Oakland Raiders coach Jack Del Rio. Now, he has a very young core led by Khalil Mack and Derek Carr, and I think he's going to take them to the next level this season. I think he will make to the playoffs, maybe possibly even the championship game. I think I predicted in the Super Bowl. That's not very likely. I do see divisional or even maybe wild card, but I do think Oakland Raiders are going to be much better this season. I think Jack Del Rio wins Coach of the Year. Who is your comeback player of the year?
My comeback player of the year is going to be Le'Veon Bell, coming back from another knee injury. However, when he's healthy, he is possibly the best running back in the league. He's got so much talent. He's got speed. He's got power. He's got receiving, running in a great offense. And I feel like I have predicted the Steelers to get to the Super Bowl, and I feel like he's going to be the head of that. He's going to put up monster stats. I predict him to play a full season, monster stats, come back from that knee injury, comeback player.
My comeback player is Green Bay receiver Jordy Nelson, coming off of an ACL injury last season. I think the Packers are going to be much better this season. I think Jordy Nelson make that much of an impact on this team. They really had no go-to target last season. They still made the divisional round. I think Jordy Nelson's going to put up electric stats as the number 1 receiver for Green Bay. Who is your Offensive Player of the Year?
My Offensive Player of the Year is going to be Le'Veon Bell. Now, he's going to put up monster stats, as I said, in the comeback player thing. He's obviously, as I said, top 5 running back. And I feel like in a Steelers offense, when there's so much pass threat going on, that he can easily just run over you. He's a great running back. I feel like he can even get up there with a single-season rushing mark, if that's possible for him. And I feel like sky's the limit for Le'Veon Bell if he stays healthy.
My Offensive Player of the Year is kind of mainstream, but I have Cam Newton from the Carolina Panthers. I had the Panthers in the Super Bowl. I think Cam Newton is going to do very well. I think he's, as a dual threat, he's going to put up, I think, probably about 1,000 yards rushing, and I think he's going to really improve his passing game this year. He has more weapons. I think he's going to put up amazing stats with Kelvin Benjamin back, and I think Devin Funchess is going to grow. I think Cam Newton wins Offensive Player of the Year. Who is your Defensive Player of the Year?
It's going to be Tyrann Mathieu. Now, he's a top 5 safety and a top 5 corner. You just don't see that. He can get picks, tackles, and interceptions. He's one of the best defensive players in the league, and I feel like he'll finally be recognized now. I mean, he's a stalwart in that Arizona defense, and with a great pass rush going, he can easily get interceptions. I mean, and no matter where you line him up, too.
Yeah, my Defensive Player of the Year is going to be Oakland linebacker Khalil Mack under defensive mastermind Jack Del Rio. I think Khalil Mack is, wait, what was that face for?
Well, Khalil Mack is really great, but how are you going to give it to Khalil Mack over players like J.J. Watt in terms of pass rush? If you're going to give it to a pass rusher, I'd give it to J.J. Watt over.
Well, I'm just saying I wouldn't give it to Tyrann Mathieu at all. You said he's a top 5 safety and a top 5 corner, but he's not number 1 in either of them.
Yes, he
No.
he is the best. He can be the best corner in the league. He can be.
He can be, but I don't think he is. I think he
easily could be.
I think Khalil Mack and J.J. Watt are both better than Tyrann Mathieu.
That's ridiculous to say that Khalil Mack is better than Tyrann Mathieu.
I don't think it is. Khalil Mack has put up much better stats than Tyrann Mathieu has.
Dude, Tyrann Mathieu is literally he's like possibly the number 2 safety, and he's possibly the number 1 corner.
I wouldn't call him the number 1 corner over Patrick Peterson and Richard Sherman and Josh Norman. I don't see you give.
He's so dominant.
I don't see Tyrann Mathieu winning Defensive Player of the Year. I think he's a good corner.
I don't see Khalil Mack winning Defensive Player of the Year. It's ridiculous to say that a pass rusher can win it other than J.J. Watt.
I think Khalil Mack has a much better chance of winning it than Tyrann Mathieu does. I think there are better corners better defensive backs than Tyrann Mathieu who could win it.
No, there's a lot better pass rushers that can win it than Khalil Mack.
Yeah, but I think Khalil Mack is going to dominate this season from the linebacker point.
Well, I think Tyrann Mathieu's going to dominate.
All right, that's enough said. All right, who is your MVP for this season?
My MVP is going to be Russell Wilson. Of course, he has a revamped offense now with weapons like Tyler Lockett, Jermaine Kearse, Doug Baldwin. The receiving core is finally around him. He is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, and I feel like he can dominate, get the Seahawks deep into the playoffs, and really just ball. I know he may not win the division over the Arizona Cardinals, but he definitely can leave a dent in the playoffs, and I would never count Seattle out, especially with the defense. Team success comes wins, comes MVPs.
Well, I just want to, before I give my answer, I don't think Russell Wilson would win MVP if they don't win the division. I think they need to win the division. Probably.
I think Russell Wilson could win the MVP if he puts up good stats.
Then he'll win Offensive Player of the Year.
In the division, but from a game. I mean, I don't see how you can. Let's say the Cardinals go 13-3, Seahawks go 12-4. Russell Wilson is like what first or second best.
He'd be Offensive Player of the Year. He wouldn't be MVP.
MVP could easily be MVP if he's the one leading that team. Then he could easily be.
The only way Russell Wilson wins MVP, you need to beat the Cardinals in your division. There's no way you're going to be second in your division.
If he's 1 game back, he could win the division. He could win MVP. Russell Wilson has all the pieces around him. If he's like the first or second best statistical quarterback, as I'm predicting him to be, then he could easily win. Even if he doesn't win the division, let's say the Cardinals go 14-2, he goes 13-3, he could still.
I'd argue with them, but if he gets 11 or 12 wins and finishes second to the Cardinals, and he has to play in a wild card game, I don't see how you put him as MVP. I think he's going to be a top 5 quarterback, but he's not MVP if he doesn't win the division. My MVP is going to be Green Bay quarterback Aaron Rodgers. I have the Green Bay Packers winning the division, getting to the conference championship. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be much better now with Jordy Nelson coming back off of that ACL injury. Who knows how that running game is going to be to kind of leverage the pass game, but I do think Aaron Rodgers will make up for it. Their team isn't really that much improved other than injuries coming back, but they were really good a few years ago, and I think they're going to be good again. Aaron Rodgers is now going to step up, win MVP. That is it for us today at Sports Storm. Like,
comment,
subscribe. Wait, no, we're not done. You made a face at me. What was that for?
I don't know how you can say Aaron Rodgers doesn't even have that good of a chance to win the division, though. I feel like the Vikings are better than the Packers as of right now.
Well, the way I look at it, I think the Packers have a better chance of winning the division than the Seahawks do. The Cardinals are much better than the Vikings. If you put them up.
But the Vikings are better than the Packers.
I don't think they are. The Packers.
Yes, they are.
They were basically equals last.
The Vikings defense crushes the Packers defense.
Yeah, but the Packers offense crushes the Vikings offense. They're pretty.
No, it doesn't crush it.
I think it does. The Vikings offense, other than Adrian Peterson, they have no one on that offense. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater, he might develop, and if they do, Aaron Rodgers they're probably going to finish second, and Aaron Rodgers probably won't win MVP. But I do think.
I just don't see how you can say the Packers are better than the Vikings. The Vikings defense is going to crush them. I just feel like if you compare them in a game, the Vikings offense is going to shut down the Packers defense. Offense.
Well, but no, the one. I think you're underestimating Aaron Rodgers. He won MVP.
I'm not underestimating Aaron Rodgers. I'm just simply saying that the Vikings defense is just too good for them to lose those head-to-head matchups.
See, I just think the Packers, if they win the division, I think they will win the division.
If they win the division, yes. But
think
if
they
they,
will win this.
I don't think they will.
I think the Vikings don't have enough offensive firepower to get past other teams, and I think
Teddy Bridgewater can develop. I think Teddy Bridgewater is going to take a big step.
Yeah, Vikings are still a playoff team, but I think the Packers are simply better right now. I mean, obviously the Vikings defense is top 5 in the NFL right now, but I think the Packers offense is also top 5 in the NFL.
I don't think you can say that though.
Based solely off of having Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback and Jordy Nelson as your receiver. And Eddie Lacy.
Jordy Nelson isn't even top 5. Isn't even top 5 receiver. He's
a top 10. And I think Eddie
Lacy's top 10. And the fact that Eddie Lacy, we're so unsure about what he can do. I just feel like you can't really say the Packers' offense is greater than the Vikings' defense.
Well, I think it really depends on what Eddie Lacy does. But I think Aaron Rodgers.
Their entire season hinges on Eddie Lacy. Eddie Lacy's been inconsistent at best over his entire career.
I think Aaron Rodgers is going to prove to everyone that he's not a quarterback that relies on other players. He makes other players rely on him, and he's going to I think he's going to take this team to the divisional crown. I think he's that good of a quarterback to be able to do this. I have him winning it.
I think Russell Wilson is that good of a quarterback to win MVP.
I mean, that's another argument. I just think the Packers have a better chance of winning the division than the Seahawks do. Now, the one thing, just based solely on the competition of the division, they're both basically two-team divisions right now. Except the Seahawks have harder competition.
The Seahawks are a better team than the Packers, though.
Yeah, but they're not as. But the Seahawks, it depends. If the Seahawks win the division, I think Russell Wilson could win MVP. But if they don't win the division, I don't think he will. And if the Packers don't win the division, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to win MVP. But I do think they're going to win the division. That's my argument. All right. That is it for us today at Sports Storm. Like,
comment,
subscribe, peace.